Check, check.
Yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never the sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, this your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, this your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, this your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
Yeah. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Lion Villain Report. Good morning to you all. We are out here broadcasting live into the Detroit Lions Villain Squad Facebook page right there. If you're on that page right there, thank you for following. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing this content to all the other football fans that are out there. We're broadcasting live into the Detroit Lions News Podcast. Joe Chapman and boys, thank you. Thank you. You've been a tremendous help to us starting our channel here, and we are on YouTube as well. JC Sports, along with our own Villain Squad YouTube page. And if you're following there, and make sure that you comment onto the YouTube page right there. And also we're in the Huddle Sports Network. Now that is ran by Bill the Packer fan and Mike the Bear fan, which brings me to the next part right here, which is faith, family, and then football. That is something that we believe in here at the Villain Squad: faith, family, and then football, in that order. That way I do not have to hate Bill the Packer fan as a person. As a matter of fact, I love Bill the Packer fan as a person. I just hate your football team. And then we can get along like that. And that way we can get onto this show here, the Villain Report. We can talk a little bit of trash, but it doesn't get out of hand. because it's faith, family, and then football in that order. And if we keep that into perspective, we can use football to spend time with our family. We can use football to create memories with the people that we love. We don't let football use us right here. So coming into the show right here, join the conversation like our people right here. Let me give the shout out to the people that actually got here before the YouTube, the automatic YouTube dropped and got to hear the LaFleur. You got Fred Peterson in here. Good morning. It's a great day to be a Lion fan. You like that? Big M in the house, the Villain Crew. Good morning to the Villain Crew. Let's go. Davey, good morning, One Pride. Henry Gray is up in the house before the YouTube drops. And good morning, Villains and Lion family. It feels really good to be a Lions fan right there. And then right after that, and thank you for being there beforehand right here. And this is the automatic drop, which is the YouTube page right here. So if you have a chance, go over to the YouTube page, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get over 1,000 people here during this season. We hadn't really been running the YouTube page all that much. It's mostly been through the 53,000 strong on our Facebook page right there. But what's happening right now is that Opportunity song. I love that song. I love the intro song right there. I have a subscription to Canva, and Canva allows it to be on YouTube, but for some reason, Facebook is not allowing it to be there. So when I get done with this broadcast, I will be deleting the Facebook version of this. So if you want your comment to stay, you got to go over to the YouTube channel because they're the only ones that are letting me keep my intro for the song. So with that being said, welcome to the program. Here we are. Some of the things that I wanted to get to today were, first of all, we have a football game on Sunday night. How does that make you feel? If you're feeling extra excited, give me a One Pride in the comments. If you're extra excited that there's actually a football game this week. And if it's not that big of a deal, just type in no big deal. If it's not that big of a deal. But there's only 5 days left. There's David Montgomery days left until the season starts right here. And that is a beautiful thing. And I want to get into some of these other comments in here before I go too far right here. Good morning to Dwayne. Let's see. Sup, let's go. Mike Fisher in the house. Henry Gray in the house. Hey, Charles is in the house. What's going on? My Muskegon posse. All the way out there. We're loving the Lions this year. I remember going to Muskegon to gig. And I would party with Chuck. And the Lions weren't very good. They used to make fun of us about the Lions here. And it's nice that there's finally a team here that we can be proud of, at least going into this season. Smoking Jeremy B in the house. Let's see. Big M in the house. Oh, yeah. Hutch going to make sure that Stafford sees the ceiling. Reacquainted with the Ford Field turf. Yeah. Darcel in the house with some stars. Thank you. Jared Goff. Yeah, I love the song, Dwayne. I love sometimes you gotta take the loss to get the win. I love that line in the song because in order to do anything in life and to be successful at anything in life, you got to learn how to take L's so you know how to, handle the wins. And I mean, anybody can get lucky. Sun shines on a dog's butt every once in a while. But to maintain excellence, you got to learn how to take losses so you know what it feels like, so you know how to avoid. So there's that, and I love that line. That sometimes you got to take a loss to get the win, and that way you can have the confidence to move forward. Dwayne, you know something, brother? What you gonna do when the Detroit Lions run wild on you? That's right, baby. That's right. NFC North champions, the villains of the North, brother. And I love it that we're running wild, baby. And that's because of an awesome offensive line. And we talked about that a little bit earlier this week. And one of the ideas I wanted to get to right here is Stephen A. Smith, not Stephen A. Smith, but just ESPN. I got that weird look on his face. Stephen A. Smith had some comments about him believing in the Lions a little bit on ESPN. And I know that none of the Lion fans really buy into anything that Stephen A. Smith says. That dude changes, he changes his mind like Michigan changes its weather. And right now, I guess he is on the Lions bandwagon right now. But an ESPN simulator predicted that the Lions would win the Super Bowl. And I read through this article. I gotta find this thing right here. Okay, right here. And using a football power index, they ran 20,000 simulations of the upcoming NFL season. And in one of those projections, the Lions emerged victorious, further solidifying their status as serious contenders, right? So the simulation shows the Lion continuing their upward trajectory for the fourth straight season underneath our coach, Dan Campbell. With a 13-4 record, they would clinch their second consecutive NFC North title to secure the coveted first-round bye in the playoffs. In the divisional round in this simulation, the Lions would face off against their division rivals, the seventh-seeded Chicago Bears, defeating them 27-16, and this would set up the NFC Championship rematch, and the San Francisco 49ers, and this time the home field turf at Ford Field. The Lions would come out, the Lion fans would come out, and they would get all fired up, and then they would finally get to the Super Bowl. And for those curious, in this scenario, the fifth-seeded Green Bay Packers didn't quite make it. They fell short to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the wild card round. The key factors driving the Lions' success in this simulation is an offense that remains largely intact from last season. We got Jared Goff. We added Carlton Davis to the secondary, and we're also predicting that Aiden Hutchinson would also have a breakout year, plays a key role in this simulation. The combination led the Lions 13-win, top of the NFC. Detroit took care of the upstart Chicago divisional rival in the divisional round, and then settling the score in the NFC title game. And they get there with the Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs would be up. The Chiefs would be up 28-14 going into the second half, and the Lions would come rumbling back to end up winning 29-28, stopping Patrick Mahomes on the final drive instead of him doing the final drive. And in this simulation, the Lions would win the Super Bowl. So does that sound like some crazy homerism? Because I didn't predict this. This was a simulation from ESPN. If you're feeling like that could be a possibility this year, give me a yay in the comments. If not, then give me a nay or a pump the brakes on that idea right there. Let's get into some of these things. You got a One Pride in there with TJ. One Pride from Jeremy B in there. Fred Peterson says, as a franchise, we know how to take losses. We ain't losing this game. And there's something to be said about that. Is like Lion fan in general is it has that PTSOL overcast. Like people say that we don't have SOL anymore, but people are still scared of it. And you can tell because of the way that we fan. Our whole offseason, I mean, this is the best roster that the Lions have had ever. I mean, from 1 to 53, even if you want to extend it out to the 69, I mean, this is the best roster that we've ever seen, but yet there's a part of the fan base that just they gotta feed in. They gotta feed into, oh, what if they have 5 injuries on the offensive line? Oh, what if Jared Goff gets injured? What if all these injured guys get injured again? And and then we're stuck, right? And it's like all this doom and gloom. And then I wish we could be like Chicago Bear fans sometimes. I mean, they sign a guy and they go 15-2, 15-2. Oh, we're gonna win. We drafted a quarterback. Yeah, you're all done. And I wish that we could have that confidence. Even coming off of an NFC championship in a game where we get to the NFC championship game, and then you improve the roster in all these different ways. There's still, like, you can't go into the season with a little bit of confidence. You can pump your chest out a little bit again. We don't get to do that very much. We don't know how to act when you have the winning. And they all tell us that we shouldn't act anyway, right? The outside fan, the Bear fan, Viking fan, yeah, you do it one time, and now you all want to act all big and bad. Well, what if we never get to act all big and bad again? What if you're right? What if you're right? We spent the whole offseason going, I don't know. What about our 5th wide receiver? What happens if the whole offensive line gets injured? It's like, well, if that happens to any team, they're done. So don't get scared of the dark. I mean, you can turn on the light. Everybody's going through that exact same thing. What if we all get injured? What if we're injured? And I think that it's a weak excuse to say that you're going to be injured or all of these players are going to be injured because they were injured. Because every single player and every single team has that same thing looming over top of them. You can go into every single roster and say, oh, I don't know about that guy. He's been injured before. We love DeAndre Swift. Well, he's been injured before, I don't know if you can really trust him. Well, he wasn't injured last year. Well, I don't know. 2 years ago, he was really injured, so you got to really worry about that. You can do that. You can micromanage any team. The Lions won the NFC North. And if you're a Lion fan, you should have confidence going into this year's. It's not like the front office sat on their hands during the offseason and we're taking the same team into next year expecting to win again. I mean, they improved in all of these spots where they felt that they were weak. And here's a roster that it seems to be really healthy going into the season with a lot of depth that can handle some depth, which brings me to another topic I wanted to get to today was just talking about Levi Onwuzurike. I've seen a couple things that are out there on him, and I don't want to come out and say, here's this guy, he's going to be one of the best defensive tackles in the league. I don't really do that when it comes with our guys. If the coaches start talking about these players and they start drawing some hype, and then some other players start talking about these players. See, Levi Onwuzurike is one of those guys that rival fans would tell us from the outside, well, you can't depend on Levi Onwuzurike. He's already been in the league 3 years. I mean, he was injured those years. How can you trust him to make it? And it's like, that's a fair argument, but just judging by the reports is the injury isn't an issue anymore. So Levi's journey in Detroit has been kind of a roller coaster. It was marked with promise at the beginning. Coming out of Washington, he was the best pass rushing interior defensive lineman coming out of the 2021 draft. And he, in his rookie season, he flashed some potential, showing that he could be disruptive. He played in 16 games with only 6 starts. He recorded 35 tackles and 1 sack, but the inconsistency and the lingering back issues began to collage, and plague in his rookie campaign. The back problems continued in 2022, leading to a couple of back surgeries, which forced him to miss the entire 2022 season. I mean, it was a significant setback. It was all the way out. And actually, after the 2022 season, I remember coming on here with Jeremy B and talking about how this guy might have to be retired. He might have to retire because he couldn't come back from this back thing. But he had this other back surgery, and despite the uncertainty, he spent by 2023 camp, there were some signs of hope. He was cleared for limited activity. It was kind of a surprise to us coming into 2023. And then he impressed the coaching staff with his work ethic. And he came in 23, and he was okay. He was okay. Actually, he performed at a 69 PFF grade for the 121 snaps that he took in 2023, showed a little bit of the potential. Now, he's came in and on the offseason and had a full offseason now. He played all last year, and then he put on 15 pounds of muscle. And when it comes, he managed to return to the field heading into the 2024 season. The expectations were tempered but optimistic. They're not counting on him to be an every down player right away, but they can hope that he can contribute to the defensive line rotation. His quickness and ability to penetrate in the backfield could make him a valuable asset in passing situations, for sure. And as far as what other people have been saying about him, I mean, Kevin Zeitler said that we might have a $20 million defensive tackles. I mean, he played well enough during training camp that they didn't put him out there during preseason. So when it comes with Levi Onwuzurike, I am optimistic about him, albeit, cautiously optimistic. But I'm not going to fall into the trap of just saying that I don't believe in this player in his health because his health, right? I mean, you can say that about a lot of different players right there, but you weren't counting on Levi Onwuzurike. But yet, here's a player that may be there for you, right? So, what do you think about that? I mean, there's been a lot of talk. I mean, just in the training camp of Levi Onwuzurike, and even Josh Paschal, for that matter, of guys that were making jumps during the offseason, like young players. And this is what you all want. This is what Broski Bear wants. He's a Bear fan. He wants all of his players that Ryan Poles has drafted to the Bears to progress, year 1, year 2, year 3. And then you have this, this rising player. You want to see those players continue to rise. And this is what I'm talking about right here. You're talking about 3rd, 4th year players that are really starting to come into their own. I mean, you saw that last year with Derek Barnes. You saw that last year with Ifeatu Melifonwu. You saw that last year with Aleem McNeil. He had 5.5 sacks, even though he ended up missing 4 games. So this is all, it's hopium, right? You're hoping that your players are going to progress. But like I've said before, that progression is the scariest part of any team. And if you're looking at our team from the outside, you should be scared of the Lions' progression, because you got a whole bunch of dudes that showed a lot of promise last year that could take huge leaps this year. I mean, sometimes you don't even get the guys to show promise. Sometimes you draft a guy in the second round and he has a hard time making your team. But when you talk about like Levi Onwuzurike, when you talk about Aiden Hutchinson going into his third year, Aleem McNeil going into his fourth year, when you talk about Jack Campbell and the jumps that he's made, and Brian Branch and the jumps that he's made. Now, you can tell me, well, not all those guys are going to make a jump. And it's like, and you're right. Not all of them will make a jump, but there's a good chance that some of them will. And if you already have plus players and they can take another jump on top of that, we might have a couple of superstars budding. And this is exactly what the Green Bay Packers are hoping for. You know, you can look at their like wide receivers right now. Let's just take Green Bay wide receivers, for instance, right? You got two different ways that you can look at those wide receivers. You can say, oh, yeah, here we got these guys that are young and they're about ready to bud in the superstars right here. And like we might have 5 number 1 wide receivers because all these guys can be. Christian Watson's going to be a dog. You know, Jaden Reed's going to be a dog. His last year, he was starting to be a dog. You could say we have 5, all these number 1 wide receivers. Or over here, you could say, you know, you have 5 number 2 and number 3 receivers. And you're hoping that they're going to take that jump into being number 1 wide receivers, but they're not number 1 wide receivers. You might just have 5 decent receivers, which isn't going to get you over that hump. So you can look at those things in 2 separate ways. Hoping all those guys, but reality is that out of those 5 wide receivers, for us to say that they're all going to dud is really just being homers to, you know, oh, everything's not going to work out for you and it's all going to work out for us. You can't be like that. So the chances are one of those Green Bay wide receivers are going to be really, really good. And, you know, you got these guys going into a third year, you know. And with the Lions, all of those players that I mentioned, there's a good chance that a couple of those guys are going to bud into superstars. They didn't put those numbers out last year. Jack Campbell wasn't a first-team All-Pro last year. But that doesn't mean that he can't have 130 tackles this year, starting week 1 as the Mike linebacker, and be in that conversation at the end of the year. So, Broski Bear says the season is almost here. Dan and Jeremy says, I fear nothing, and nor does Dan Campbell. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. That's right. Bears are playing the Titans. Yep. So the Bears play the Titans. The Packers play the Philadelphia Eagles. So I know that there's been a lot of smack talking coming in here, and the Lions got to play the Rams, but like Broski had said yesterday on Mike's show, it's like this is a beat up Rams team. Like this is being teed up for the Lions to come in on Sunday night, and the thing is like if we believe in what we believe, you can't show any mercy when it comes to Matt Stafford. You gonna boo Matt Stafford? I'm gonna boo Matt Stafford. You know why? He doesn't play for the Detroit Lions. I don't have any type of feelings. I don't fall in love with players like that. I mean, maybe a couple players here and there, but Matt Stafford was not one of those guys for me, especially with the way that he left. You know, I'm never gonna win here. I'm gonna leave and go somewhere else. And he whined his way out, and it worked out for him. You know, kudos to Matt Stafford. I'm not unhappy that he goes out and wins the championship. I just think he gets too much credit for that win. Now, and that's okay. So I'm with you right there. Let's keep this going. And you know what? And I'm going to boo Matt Stafford. I'm going to boo Matt Stafford because he doesn't play for the Detroit Lions anymore. I'm not going to boo his kids. Boo them kids. And I hope that he doesn't get all butthurt and try to blame the fans. Because I tell you what, Matt, you left. You picked your ball up and went somewhere else. And you got your victory somewhere else. But the city of Detroit is still hungry for a championship, dude. It ain't about you, California boy. You go out there and you know, I mean, you ain't happy for the fans. You ain't happy for the fans of Detroit. You're happy for the players. You know, I mean, people walking out and dropping bombs on the way out and, you know, saying this, even if it's in a subtle way, because Matt Stafford's not going to come out and say anything derogatory, you know, and give you anything to print like that. Maybe his wife will, but he usually doesn't. He's usually that straight, you know, I do what I can to help the team win, and I try really, really hard and practice, and we execute, try to bank, you know, the robot. He's the robot answer guy. He's not going to be up or down. He's not going to say emotional things. But, you know, he has some animosity for what happened last year. He has some animosity because Jared Goff owns Matt Stafford in his career. He beat the Lions as a Ram, and now he's beating the Rams as a Lion. So there's something to be said about that. You know, you can't just say, hey, it's all the team around him. But I can't say that about Matt Stafford. It wasn't the team around him. He didn't have the best defensive player maybe of all time on the other side of that defense. You know, he didn't have Jalen Ramsey. He didn't have Von Miller and Cooper Kupp. People to throw the ball, an awesome offensive line with the running backs. Good coach. He didn't have any of that stuff. It was all Matt Stafford, but not Jared Goff. He needs everybody around him to win. Matt Stafford can do it by himself. Like, stop it. Stop it. Everybody needs players to win. And the fact of the matter is now Jared Goff is a top 10 quarterback in this league. And I don't think Matt Stafford is right there. Yeah, he's probably, I mean, they're probably pretty close. But I'll take Jared Goff and this offense over Matt Stafford any day. At any point. Levi has to do it on the field. You see, for me, I know that people are going to have something to say, but that's just my opinion. And that's not an opinion, Corey. That's not an opinion. That's avoiding your thought. Your thought is that he has to show it out on the field. No, that is a fact. That is the fact. He needs to show it out on the field. That is a John Madden statement. Right after he throws an interception, John Madden will say something like, wow, he really shouldn't have thrown that ball. I mean, that's an obvious statement. That is a cop-out statement, and that's exactly why I wanted to do this subject right here, because, I mean, I know that people are going to have something to say. Yeah, I'm going to have something to say. That's why I made this topic, is because what happens is that, I mean, your opinion is you have to see it out on the field. That's not an opinion. That's the fact. That's what we already know. You're trying to dismiss the statement that Kevin Zeitler said that he was very difficult to block. That is not a statement that dismisses the fact that Dan Campbell said that he's 15 pounds heavier and it's unrecognizable at the level that he's playing right now in comparison to the previous 3 years. Saying that he needs to prove it out on the field doesn't dismiss the fact that this is the best that Levi's looked, and he looks fully recovered from his injury. So that is not the antonym to what I'm saying. You're not even arguing with me. You're stating an obvious fact. Yes, he needs to show it out on the field. That is the point. But we are not going to dismiss the work that he's done. And when he comes out and he plays well, I'm going to need you to come on here, Corey, and I'm going to need you to acknowledge that part when he comes out here and plays well, because that's why I'm saying I'm calling this out of the evidence of the things that people have been saying about him behind closed doors when they're doing practicing that you're not seeing or the outside media isn't seeing. Kevin Zeitler is one of the best guards in the NFL. He went to the Pro Bowl last year. And if this guy comes out and says that Aleem McNeil, and he was talking about both players when he said it, by the way, but when he says Aleem McNeil and Levi Onwuzurike are two $20 million defensive tackles, that means he had to pack his lunch in order to block this guy, that he was still disrupting, that he was getting in on Frank Ragnow, one of the best centers in football. So to me, it goes to show that if Levi's getting in there on Frank Ragnow and getting in there on the Kevin Zeitler on our offensive line, what do you think he's going to do to guys that aren't as good as that? I mean, it might look ugly. Levi might be a more plus player than DJ Reader by the end of the season. We don't know this. And if they're saying that he's worth $20 million or he could be one of those guys and he can show that out on the field, you're right. Get up, Detroit. We got football this week, baby. We're not the Browns. I just want our guys to develop into Lions. Okay. We almost went to the Super Bowl. Let me get some down here. Okay, I didn't get too far on here. What up, Doe from Jonathan Haidt? Lame duck Rams, banged up O-line, banged up Puka. There's truth in that, broski. You know, sometimes you come on here with some bad opinions, but this one isn't a bad opinion. Honestly, I think this is teed up, man. This is teed up right there. The Lions are sitting right on there. What? You need to get this done. The Lions need to get this done. I'm going to be an upset dude if I have to come out here and I got to eat crow on Monday. And I do it. And just so you know, broski, this is probably one of the things that most people respect about me on here is I take my medicine when the Lions lose. I will come on here and take my medicine when the Lions lose. Try to back up all of the stuff that I say. And when I'm wrong, I try to tell you that I'm wrong. Does anybody know how many yards Gibbs and DeMont got against the Bears? I don't think that we had Gibbs and DeMont in both of those games together. We were running through some back and forth stuff with that. I think they got some Craig. I think they had some Craig. We can check that out. Maybe Jeremy B will check that out for you. Puka returned to team practice probably so they can judge if he's ready. Man, if Puka doesn't go, they got no chance. But if he goes, that means he's healthy enough to go. So Puka is a dangerous wide receiver. Matt asking for a trade is why we got Campbell instead of Salah. Let that simmer, people. I heard Puka in a Shua had his knee twice the size is normal. Okay. Yikes! Kneecap biting. Let's see. Have any of you seen that Sleep Number Bed commercial with Matt the cook? Oh, you're gonna get me in trouble on. I really got to read these before I put them up. Oh, enough of letting him join the team and practice. Oh gosh, I love you guys. Taylor Decker in an interview at the end of training camp was it was refreshing to playing against the D-line that challenged the O-line in camp. Corey says that I'm not arguing with you, and if Levi shows up, I will definitely eat my crow. But but definitely got to see it. They also said that Suckfield was the second string and he was gone the next day. This is not the same thing here, Corey. This is not the same thing. This isn't Dan Campbell pushing people and saying, hey, there's still a competition or anything. This is OTAs. Dan Campbell made a comment. I didn't say anything about it. I didn't say anything about it when he made the comment. They talked about OTAs. And then Zeitler came out and made his comment after OTAs was over. They got into the training camp, into the mini camp. And then he made a comment. And then Frank Ragnow made a comment. And then Ben Johnson made a comment. Aaron Glenn made a comment on him. And the thing is like these things keep on stacking up and stacking up. And actually, the biggest thing that made me bring this up, Corey, and I'm glad that you say this because this is the thing where you got to show it out on the field. That's just an obvious thing to say. They all have to show it out on the field. They all have to. And especially when it comes to preseason. So it's like you got to look at preseason with a way different eye than you do the regular season because it's checkers and chess, right? You're not getting game planning in preseason. So when you add up the comments, but the biggest thing that I saw was the fact that he was absent in preseason. They kept Levi Onwuzurike out of the preseason games because this regime believes in tape. I mean, Dan Campbell said that in his presser, where it's like the LA Rams didn't show their guys either. Taylor Decker spoke to it. He's got to face Jared Verse because off of going to college tape to watch him because they didn't show him in the preseason. So to me, more than the comments, more than anything that the coaches said about Levi, and one thing that I do believe that is indisputable is the fact that he's healthy now, Corey. And we're not arguing; we're having a conversation. We don't really argue on this show anymore. We try to have a conversation. And I'm saying that the coaches are telling us that it's showing up on the field, that it's showing up against the starters, and it's showing up so much that they held him out of preseason because they don't want to show tape on any of their starter guys. Every little advantage that you can get is what Dan Campbell is going to try to coach. You don't want to show your starters and how those guys move. Sometimes I think that these injuries are more of, all right, get out of the way because I don't want to show you. I don't want to show tape on you. I don't want to show tape on Terrion Arnold. I don't want to show Rake Straw. I mean, the only one they really had out there was Amik Robertson. So what they don't have in preseason sometimes tells you more than what they don't. And to me, I'm going to be right here with you, Corey. I'm going to say cautiously optimistic. And I am going to disagree with the part where that isn't really comparative to what they said about Suckfield. I mean, you're talking about one interview where it's obvious that he was trying to motivate Hendon Hooker with that statement about not knowing. In both games, David Montgomery had 142 yards, 6 yards carry in both games combined. Wow. So that's not bad against a team that's known for stopping the run. So Gibbs didn't play JB. Gibbs had 102 yards, 5.2 yards a carry, as did Monty in the first games. Gibbs had 2 touchdowns and rushing combined. Jeremy, are you saying that when the Lions play the Bears that they are able to run against this team that is unrunnable on? That's interesting. Nevertheless, we didn't play good. Yeah. Are we talking about last year's Bears games that has different players and everything? Like, you can't look at last season on a lot of this stuff when it comes to that. And the Lions did win one of those games. I don't care how close the games are. That is an almost win is not a win. If almost wins were wins, the Lions would have won 11 games in 2008 where they lost all of them. Okay? Don't hit me with any of that. Like, Bear fan can miss me with we almost beat you twice last year. Maybe you can say you should have beat us twice, but you didn't. It was a split. Hey, and Green Bay Packer fan too. You won in Ford Field. That's the only thing I ever hear about. We destroyed you in Ford Field. But I don't want to hear about the butt whooping that we took in Lambeau. We have excuses for that, but we beat you. No, we split. That's what happens when there's two good teams. That's what happens when the NFC North is the black and blue division again. I wouldn't be up here. I'm not going to say that we're going to. I'm not going to sit up here and promise you we're going to sweep the Packers or the Chicago Bears. I think that both of those teams are a lot better this year, but the Lions are a lot better too. I'm not going to dismiss our improvements that we've had right there. So each game they averaged 100 yards combined as a duo, and that's what happens. You know, and Gibbs was better in the second game, and there's that progression thing, Jeremy, that we've been talking about. Progression. Elise Memes in the house. Good morning, villains. I can't believe the season is here. It's weird because when you didn't come from last week, we didn't get to do the review from last week, but this is the first time we get to talk about, all this week, we get to talk about the game that's going to happen on Sunday. And since we got, I don't know if Broski Bear is in here. Do you think, what do you guys think about the Bears versus the Titans? Is that a gimme win for the Bears? The Bears are on their way, right? They're 15-2. That's what I heard. I heard that they were going to be 15-2 this year because they got a quarterback. And, they drafted a wide receiver. So they're 15-2. So do you think they could lose week 1 to the Tennessee Titans? They got hype too. Tasha Spears was pretty good last year when Derrick Henry went down with the injuries that are inevitable with a guy that runs like that. Tennessee's got Will Levis, going into the second year. I'm sure that they believe that he could do some stuff. He doesn't like milk or something. I don't know, but evidently he can throw the ball pretty well. Is it a gimme win for the Chicago Bears to beat the Tennessee Titans? That's a pretty good defense. They got a pretty good defense. Caleb Williams is a rookie, and he's going up against a really good NFL defense. Is he going to tear it up the first time? Because he hasn't played against pros yet. He had the preseason, but like I said, that's vanilla play calling. Rob Mott says Spears and Ridley equal Bears loss and not an upset. Wow. Jeffrey Addison is present and accounted for. If you beat the Lions last year, it's because you had a scrambling quarterback out of the pocket. That hole has been patched and reinforced. Yeah, that's the thing. It's funny when I listen to especially Packer fans, because Packer fans won that second game. They came out and like you got to give LaFleur credit because he came out and attacked the weakness right off the bat. The first play was a bomb pass to Christian Watson. They went right down and they scored the first 14 points. They went right down and they jumped on us. They took advantage of the fact that we didn't have a good secondary. Most definitely. And the teams that did beat up, that were able to do stuff against us last year on defense, it was really the secondary. The secondary kept on being disappointing. Play after play after play after play. And, they did have the injuries at the beginning of the year, but I don't think they had the horses anyway. Even if they had a fully healthy Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for the whole year, and they were able to even keep Emmanuel Mosley in there, or if they were able to have him. I mean, I don't think the secondary would have been like a top 10 secondary last year, no, even at the best. Their top guys going down, that sucked. They didn't get to train Brian Branch where he's going to be playing his career. That kind of sucked. But this year, bringing in Carlton Davis, bringing in Amik Robertson, and then drafting a cornerback in the first 2 rounds, that's not reinforcing. That's not, we need to upgrade the secondary. That's a complete overhaul, guys. When the guy that started in the NFC Championship game, Kendall Vildor, is now your 6th cornerback coming off of the bench, that's a real thing right there. That's a real upgrade. And that's what I keep on trying to tell people. It's like Josh Jacobs might be an upgrade over Aaron Jones, right? But when you look at, a healthy Levi Onwuzurike, even if he's just average, is better than Benito Jones or Quentin Bohanna. Kyle Peko is a huge upgrade over Benito Jones and Isaiah Buggs. So on the level that the Lions upgraded their spots that they were upgrading, they're not just upgrading. I like to look at it like if it was a 16 Madden, it's going from a 60 to at least an 85 over the whole room. And in the cornerback room, I mean, you got 70 is your highest guy in Madden, right? And all of a sudden you bring in, 3 guys that are in the 80s instead. So the upgrade isn't just like, oh wow, they could be better at running the ball. Xavier McKinney. Yeah, he's an upgrade over Darnell Savage. But Darnell Savage wasn't like Darnell Savage was garbage. It's not like you're replacing a gigantic hole. You had a spot that was filled with a quality dude that you made an upgrade on. Maybe. That's the other thing too, is you're switching defensive coordinators over there in Green Bay. The Lions have continuity. They overhauled the whole secondary. That whole room is different, but they all get to learn together. The defensive linemen have all been there. They were there last year. Levi's not learning anything new. He's known the defense. It's just his back. He had to heal from the back. So you had a scrambling quarterback last year out of the pocket, and that hole has been reinforced. College ball started. The smell of blood is in the water. Yeah. Packer fan talk about garbage time in the Thanksgiving loss. You fail to mention that that you scored 14 points in garbage time to earn the double-digit loss because it doesn't fit your narrative. Oh, man. Yeah, the thing is, it's like, it's okay. I like the trash talking. I like the trash talking because the reality sets in when the season starts. All the trash talking I'm finding out, in my experience, my short experience as a podcaster since 2020, that the narratives go all the way through the off season, and then it's real time. And then it's like you go on a week by week thing. So this is the way that we handle it on the Villain Squad. Is Monday, it's like when you win your game, you have the right to talk your trash for the entire week. Like Broski Bear, if you're listening right now, or any of the rival fans, when the Lions lose, you have every right to come on here and give me my medicine. Give it to me. I'll take it. I will take it. But I already know from my experience that I'll take it, but not everybody is always here for me to give it when it happens the other way. So I'll take my medicine, but I challenge you as a fan. I know we've had some tough guy talk in here. We get the blood boiling and raising, but stand up for your team during the loss. Let's see if you could do that, because Lion fans do that better than any team. It's not even a close second. The Packers were pathetic last year. Pathetic fan base last year. And I know that Steve will come in here and be like, it wasn't me. And Steve was the only one. Even Robert Bertana was gone for a couple weeks. Now, they all had excuses. They all had their excuses of why they left for those 2 weeks. Their dog died. Something had happened traumatic. They all had traumatic events in their family. And it's like, who am I to say, all of you guys didn't have traumatic events in your family, but it really looked like to me that the Packers disappeared. We had panels on this show. It used to be all trash talk, and Mike would just give them some medicine. Mike would give them medicine. Mike was the king of trash talk. He's the king of Sting. He ran them all out of here. They were gone. I mean, even the ones that stayed, like even Steve would just come in and be like, he took his medicine. But the trash talking was done. There was no trash talking. But then they crept back in as they started winning. Yeah, the Green Bay fan base is a pathetic supporter of their team. They don't even know how to lose because they're not used to it. I mean, we have PTSOL because, but they had PT, same old SOP. The same Packers are always used to winning, so their mind starts glitching. I mean, they went 9-8, 8-9, and they're like, "Oh, you see, we can handle losing." I'm like, "You were 8-9, dude. You almost had a winning team." Like, they're Lion fan from back in the day. If we had Patricia and we win 8-9, we'd be like, "Yeah, thank God we won 8 games." Like, you don't know how to handle losing. Witness protection. That's right. They went into witness protection. They didn't want anybody to get hurt. Steve says, I guess I'm blocked. I don't know what that means. You're not blocked by me because there you are. And there's Steve Widows again. I'm a diehard Lion fan. I don't know why I would be silenced. You're not being silenced, Steve. There's your comment and the proof that you are not blocked. I don't know why you would be silenced. I never see a chat here in comment, and there is no comments to comment on. I don't know. Is that true? Is there? Do I not have a chat? The comments are silenced. Let me look at it. Yeah. Let's see. Looks like I'm seeing all kinds of stuff in here, buddy. I don't know what you're talking about. I got some people watching in here. Broski Bear put something in here. LOL. There's Corey Patterson. I'm seeing all the stuff. I don't know what you got going on there, buddy. I don't know. You probably got to fix something on your end, because I got your comment up on my screen, so that tells you that you're not silenced. So you see them on the screen, but nothing on mine. You got to open up your chat or something. Hey, Detroit fan man. Hey, Russ, can you see me? Testing the chat. Yes. I'm seeing these. They're coming through. I'm in StreamYard right now, so I get everybody's comments at the same time. And I appreciate you guys for working with me on the YouTube. So I'm not saying anything, mean to Steve, because he could very well be going through a problem. I don't know how to fix it, and I want to be able to fix it, because I want you guys to be able to go to the YouTube. I'm still learning that system right there. So it is weird. It really is weird. But I dig it though. I'm seeing the chat over here. I'm on the site right now. Looking at the YouTube, and I'm not seeing you on this chat, Steve. I don't see you in here. So I don't know why you'd be blocked. I have no idea. I apologize for that. I'll check that out for you though, Steve, because I see everybody else in there and I don't see yours. Corey was checking the chat out. So, all right. Henry, same can be said about a starting quarterback. Goff goes down. Lions are toast. If Caleb goes down, some would argue it could be a benefit, but I'm not sure of those people, though. No, you can't. You don't want your starting quarterback to go down. If Goff goes down, we're in trouble at the beginning of the season. I do believe in the progression of Hendon Hooker, but I don't think that he would be ready if Goff went down in week 1, because he needs more experience. He just needs to practice more with the team. You could see how he got better just game to game when he was out there, and I can see why he won the backup job. But man, I don't think that you'd want Hendon Hooker taking meaningful snaps anytime. Oh, okay. He's on the JC Sports one. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And really, that's cool. I don't know how Joe Chapp has that one set up. I'm just part of his JC Sports network, right? And he allows me to, go in front of his 1,000 or so subscribers that are on there. So I don't know about that one, Steve. So you might want to go over to the Villain Squad one, and that link is up at the top. It's one of the first comments that come on there. JC Sports is the other YouTube channel. Joe Chapp from the Detroit Lions news podcast. That's his YouTube channel, and JC Sports embodies all sports. It isn't just football. So I have a football show on his network that has a bunch of different shows. They talk about hockey. They talk about, the Pistons and all the other Detroit sports. So But we'll take all the support we can get. So, Steve, we are on JC Sports. So you're good to stay there, but I'm going to throw our link right here. This is our link that I'm throwing into the comments right now to what we're watching right now. So if you are on any of those other channels and you want to go over to the YouTube channel and subscribe to our YouTube, we'd appreciate that. We're trying to get to 1,000 there. We have 700 and maybe 730 subscribers by now. I don't know, 728. So we've been trying to put some effort into building the YouTube page for the last couple months. And but for most of us, we're on the Lions Villain Squad Facebook page, and join our community right there. I mean, we have a great community. There's 52,000 villains on there. And yesterday's program, we had over 6,000 views on our Facebook page, and probably another maybe 1,000 views from the Detroit Lions News podcast. So, yeah, there's some eyes on this program right now. Not everybody's brave enough to come in here and make comments and join conversation, but we try to get it. So there it is. We figured it out. You see, when we work together, it's an amazing thing. Imagine that. Just imagine that you had a Bear fan. You had a Bear fan helping you out. That's the way that we work on this program. It's faith, family, and then football. See, I don't like Broski's team. I hate the Bears. I want to see them lose all their games and all that. But Broski, I want you to have a blessed life. I want you to get everything that you're working hard for. And Bill the Packer fan, I want you to get everything that you're working hard for. And I want your family to be happy and healthy. I just want your team to lose. I want the Packers to lose. Just like you want the Lions to lose. Just like you want all of your takes about how all these bad things were going to happen to the Lions. So you can come on here and we can talk and we can, do a little bit of trash talking and have some fun. But we keep it in perspective on here. And I've been a part of a couple other shows that haven't been like that, There's no reason to ever lose friendships over football. Faith, family, and football. Just keep it in that order and you'll be all right. Good energy. Keep the energy good. It's fun to watch. It's intense to watch football games. It takes energy to watch football games. I like it. You guys are awesome, man. This was a great conversation that we had today. Let's review a little bit. We got 5 days, baby. 5 days until opening kickoff for the Detroit Lions. Think the Lions blow them out? Do you think that the Lions can take advantage of all of the injuries and all of the problems that the Rams are having? Going into that game with pretty much everybody you thought you were going to go into that game with, besides a John Kaminsky. That's unfortunate, but John Kaminsky's absence gives other people opportunity. Now, how you feeling about that? You think we can blow them out? You think it's going to be close? How many times do you think that Matt Stafford will get sacked? We talked about that today. We talked a little bit about Levi Onwuzurike. And we talked about, trying to feel good about these players, and understanding that we have to wait and see on the progress of these guys. That's a fine line right there. We have to wait and see. But you can be cautiously optimistic about Levi Onwuzurike. They drafted him in the second round. He was the second defensive tackle taken in the entire draft. He was the one with the most upside as a pass rusher from the interior. They wanted him to be our own Aaron Donald. That's why they drafted him. I'm not saying he's going to be Aaron Donald. But I am saying that the coaching and the people that are trying to block him in practice notice that he's fully healthy. That's one thing that's indisputable now. The back surgery kept this time. He played the entire 2023 season with it in the limited capacity, was here during the whole season, and took the off season serious, packed on 15 more pounds of muscle on top of that already healed back. And we're going to get, in the fourth year, we're going to get the very first fully healthy season, or at least fully healthy start of the season for Levi Onwuzurike. Now, will it hold up? That's what we have to wait and see. But the twitch and everything that he was touted to be coming out in the second round is there for right now. But it is a wait and see. But you can be cautiously optimistic. And then the ESPN simulator, we went through that. They predicted the Lions won the Super Bowl. Stephen A. Smith, who changes his mind more than Michigan changes his weather, is now on the Lions bandwagon. After calling them fraudulent last year, he got on their bandwagon. 2 weeks later, they lose. He got off of the bandwagon and called them fraudulent. And now, going into this season, Stephen A. Smith, he thinks the Detroit Lions are the team to beat in the NFC North. Jordan Love is the only one. So what do you think about that? You know, this is all smoke, but it is nice to have just stats and algorithms and all this stuff. And judging by what the Lions have done, they win a simulation to win a Super Bowl. That's cool. Whatever. That was fun to talk about. Join us every Monday night. Every Monday night with Main Event Mike. I am the producer. Mike is the host of the Main Event Football Show. As a review of the entire week. And Mike always has some special guest ideas, at least, right there. But join us every Monday night at 7 p.m. And then, of course, you can join me every morning, 10 a.m., Lion Bill and Report. We love having the good conversations. And we can even fix YouTube problems like we did together today. Yeah, Stephen A. is a fraud and should stick to basketball. That's right. Oh, Levi had a 70 PFF score for 2023. Yep, almost. It was 69 and some change. But you can round up. I feel good. I feel you. Yeah. So, Lion Bill and Report every morning, 10 a.m. Even on Saturday. We have a Saturday show, guys. And then we're going to be doing the Villain Cast. Mike and I are going to be doing the Villain Cast for Monday night. I don't think that we're going to be showing the video of the game. I think we took a chance with our YouTube page, and we got away with it, but I don't know if I want to keep taking chances like that. It felt pretty good to call the game. We'll see. We'll see what we do. But it's faith, family, and then football. That's why I can love a guy like Broski. That's why I can love Bill the Packer fan and Mike the Bear fan and Sarah, the Vite Queen. The Vite Queen from the Vite Queen Nation. Faith, family, and then football. We use football. We We use football to create memories and spend time with our family. We don't let football use us. And may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. And may the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again tomorrow morning for the Villain Report, 10 a.m. God bless. Peace. Oh, man, I picked the wrong one. All right, let's try it again. God bless you. I will see you guys tomorrow.
Hey, yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet.
Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose what I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple.
Never give up and we running and maybe we just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me, it's never this way. We indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.